The flip side of reasoning beyond the text questions is drawing outside context back into the passage. This would be like bringing a character from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings into your favorite novel. This will involve a lot of the same skills that we've already discussed. So we're maybe going to branch outward and just discuss how Carr's passages, and indeed all of reasoning beyond the text questions, can be considered malleable with the immediate context of the question stem. Then we're going to examine two Carr's question types, known as what-if questions and least amount of change questions. Then we'll wrap this all up with how to take a strategic guess. It's really easy to get behind on the Carr section, and taking a strategic guess can occasionally help you to get back on track for time. When we apply an external scenario to a Carr's passage, it's very tempting to get stuck on our understanding of the passage. But for the second half of reasoning beyond the text questions, accessing and integrating questions, you may consider the passage to be malleable, able to be reshaped, reformed, viewed in a different light. The broadest category of assessing and integrating questions are what-if questions. A hypothetical fact might be introduced, and you would need to determine if it could peacefully coexist with the information in the passage, or if a new paradigm is required. If a passage about race cars states that cadmium-based catalytic converters were introduced in 1931, but a question stem informs you that a junkyard of pre-1920 cars was recently unearthed with traces of cadmium, you would need to assess whether this was compatible with the passage or whether, in fact, the passage was incorrect. We have always considered Carr's authors to be real-life, breathing human beings that could make mistakes, right? What-if questions simply give you the opportunity to apply an outside citation to kind of check and balance an existing passage, just like we would be expected to do so when reading real-world literature. The answer choices, too, can introduce new information. This might come in the form of a least amount of change question stem, which asks you which of the four answer choices would least impact the passage. You can think of the correct answer choice as the one that aligns most with your understanding of the main idea of the particular point in question. This opens up a bit of a can of worms. You, the pre-med student, have been trained to apply your absolute best towards every scenario. But across the MCAT as a whole, and Carr's in particular, you will on occasion need to make a strategic guess to save time. I personally recommend 1 to 2 across the Carr's section as a whole on principle, typically on assessing and integrating least amount of change question types. These questions are phrased in the negative and require you to evaluate 4 specific sections of context. Go ahead and practice these question types to stay sharp, but when you take time to practice sectionals, try not to spend more than a minute on them before taking your best answer based on your understanding of the passage and moving forward.